in the lower right, in the lower right part. Not very lower right part. This area down here. Start.
Yeah, I already hit start. Now it's asking if I want to stop.
Oh, that's fine.
Or stop recording.
Stop. And then after
here's EA 12. Close.
127 from Russell Ann Coop from South Carolina. 127. Happy.
What's that one hanging on the tree?
Oh, I saw it happen. Savior died for our sins upon the cross of Calvary, and is there sitting with thy right hand right this afternoon, praying for us and interceding for us. Jesus Christ the same, yesterday, today, and forever. Take care of us as we turn thy word in the book of Romans. In Jesus' name we ask it. Amen. Let's come again, please, to hymn number 52. This is 52 or 50? 54 from Rick Wendikosik of Wisconsin. 54. How sweet.
Sorry.
Kansas City from Arkansas, 55, and they will love to hear. Yeah, let's go number 243 from Anthony Hamza from Canada. 243 is able to deliver you. 243. Cash, come in. 243. from Joy Warner from Florida, 409.
Okay. Did we do this one this morning?
604 from Maine, Carol Vicky Albert, 604.
Okay.
I will take care of you. It's 160, 165, 165, can't read it. It's one day, it's 165, 163.
165?
Which one is it?
163.
163 it is, okay. 163. Take our memory list, and we need one. Need one. Right up there in that. I just trying to find it.
I don't know if you're talking to me or not.
Yeah, there's one right there. Cash needs one of those.
Oh, I do, yeah. Thank you.
Everyone else got one? All right, we're on page 28. Page 28. All ready? Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any grace, think on these things. Philippians 4:11-13. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased and know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to be bowed down and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Philippians 4:19. But my God shall supply all your needs, according to His riches and glory, Christ righteousness. Why don't we can turn on things here?
Talking to me? No.
No, all right, we're in the book of Romans, chapter 13. We're going to begin at the last verse, verse 14. Those who are listening to us, hope you can call in and talk to us. If you request or get everything on, or your comments and questions, please call us at 856-261-9018, or questions at bftbc.org. We're in Romans chapter 13, beginning verse 14. We'll go 14 and then chapter 14, verses 1, 2, and 3 again. Romans 13, verse 14 together. But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Chapter 14, verses 1, 2, and 3. And that is weak in the faith, receive ye, but not to doubtful disputation. Verse 2, 14, 2.
Put the verses back. 14, okay.
For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God hath received him. All right, if we can get ourselves together, Romans 13, the last verse, we started it last Sunday, but we didn't finish it. Verse 13, 14.
Oh, 13, 14.
13, 14, the last verse of chapter 13, yeah. 13, 14.
Which is Romans?
Romans, yeah, 13, 14.
Romans.
If you got to open up your Braille Bible and see if we can trust. Last time we talked about that a little bit. Put ye on. Lord, what does that mean? Put ye on. Any hands on that? Any hands on that? Cast.
No, I just want to ask you a question. Are we on 12, 13, or 14?
No, we're in 13, chapter 13, verse 14.
First Chronicles?
No,
First
Romans.
I think I can answer that question.
Where's
Romans?
First Chronicles is what they want Pastor Dan to teach when he goes up with the Chinese people.
I just opened
First
up.
Chronicles. But we're in Romans. Romans, yes, let's add to that.
Well, it says,
Put ye
ye on the Lord Jesus Christ.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that our walk with the Lord, it should be circumspectly. We should live Christ's life. We should, this is what we should do. We should work and do what the Lord's word says, and then we should live it out, so that when we live our life out, we have the Lord Jesus Christ on instead of sin.
All right, that's good. And what are the words of Anna?
Oh, so it's like when you put on like a sweater or a scarf or whatever you put on in the morning. When you put it on, that's what people are going to see.
What's on that?
I think what Jesus is also, what he also means here when he said put on the armor of God, is mean when we meditate and we meditate upon His word, and also to live by His word and to apply it in our lives.
Okay, that's more going than Van.
Oh, it's fine. I mostly finished.
Most advanced? Okay.
I just want to know where we are. I
I said for the second or third time, Romans chapter 13,
The thing is, it's not
verse
the that
14.
Romans, it's some other Romans.
Honey, I said Romans
No, you were
13, 14.
you were in First Chronicles, and we said no, it's not First Chronicles.
Oh, is that what I said? I thought I was saying Romans.
So Romans 13.
I don't think I should be here because I can't keep up.
Well, just-
I can't even start with you.
Honey,
And then when I
just be here and
start,
listen. Honey, just be here and listen. You don't have to say a word, just listen.
well, I'd like to know where I was listening.
What is it?
We're in Romans chapter 13, verse 14.
Can you repeat that, honey?
Romans 13, 14.
You got it. Okay, let me ask that question again. What do just these words mean? Put ye on. Any hands on that? Yes, thank
It means that you, that's
All right.
ye,
Right.
you plural,
Plural.
are supposed to put on something. You're supposed to attire yourself,
Attire
or
yourself.
robe yourself in something.
Now, eating lunch or supper, and in a place close to us, the lady at the counter told my wife something about this put ye on. said, when you and your husband come into this place, there seems like a glow, something like that. Did you say that?
It wasn't the Wendy's.
I didn't say that's one of the diners. I didn't say Wendy's.
Yeah, it was a diner. It
The
was,
Westmont Diner.
it was such a glow, I went out and made a fool of myself. Don't even remember it. I don't even remember it.
But what I'm saying is, we don't know what unsaved people think of us. There's a man, last evening, I had trouble getting my jacket off one of the handles. He came over and took care of it. And then when I left, I had trouble getting one of the arms. It took a little while. I could have done it myself, but he saw that thing, came over, helped me put it up. And in the meantime, at that time, my wife wanted to put something over on this side, and I had some problems with it. So I took my canes up here, and I pushed this over like this. What I didn't know is, at the other end of the cane, there was a plate. So the plate smashed right down and broke right in pieces on the floor. That same man that helped me recruit, and picked that whole thing up. What an amazing man. He had 2 wives, he divorced, and I was living with a girl. So I don't know what kind of morality he has. I told him about our church, but he said, I'm not interested in it. But then he was
I
right
was so
on.
afraid he's looking at me for the next one, and I didn't want to.
Oh, no, I know.
I'm not sure about that.
What did you say?
I said, I'm not sure about that.
No,
He was just trying to help.
So very kind. But put on the Lord Jesus Christ. Put him on, just like as Tammy said, just like put on a garment, a coat, a hat, whatever it is, gloves, and wear them as if it's a part of you. So you put something on, that's a part of you. Who are you putting on? The Lord Jesus Christ.
Where does it say that about the hat?
13, 14, Romans.
Romans?
I'm not sure it's in chapter 13 of Romans. Yes, she is. I think she misheard something, I believe.
Put the Lord Jesus. And then there's a negative involved here. What is the negative in this person? Any hands on that? What's something not to do? Okay.
Do not make provision for the flesh.
Okay, what does provision mean in that case? What does that mean? Any hands on it? Provision. What, Bob?
Room.
Room is one thing, yes. Anything else? Yes, Sam?
When you provide for something, you feed it.
All right, you feed it, you nourish it, and it's ready to build up. For the flesh, now what is that flesh? He's talking about ye, which as you say, it's like genuine Christians in Romans, and talking to ye, all of you Roman Christians, should not put on the flesh. Okay, let's get to Rob, if I get this out, if I could put up here, see what we can do. Oh, I forgot it again. Call Rob Winograd.
You have 2 phone numbers for contacts named Rob. Calling Rob Winograd.
Read this out.
Get the top
Take it
together for
out?
me.
Yeah, I'll take it out. I gotta find it first.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go.
What do you want, Don? I couldn't think of
That was
it.
theirs. Thank you.
He's calling Rob back.
Oh.
Family.
Who's the lady that answers the phone for him and says,
Rob, I can't get you this call
That's an
back.
automatic. It's not. Maybe try his cell phone. I think you call him the home number.
okay.
So lay down provision for the flesh. What is it? Pardon me?
Yes. Call back. Call back, Rob. Call back. We're trying to pick it up this time.
Oh yeah, call back, Rob. My cell phone was on my belt, took me time to get off and I lost it. I called you back and you didn't answer.
Every thing you do is the same thing. You act so surprised.
In other words, the meaning of the word, who's got the flesh? How many people in this world have the flesh in the end?
All of us, everybody.
Everyone.
All of us.
So provision is this right? The Christians are believers here, the Lord Jesus, and it probably is a present in prayer. So stop putting on, or keep putting on work, and make not stop making provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. And every one of us, okay, I've got this out of my belt now, so it's going to be working perfectly. Ready to go? Rob, what's up? You there, Rob? Hello? Okay, go right ahead.
I guess we gotta get Dan to put my home phone in there.
Oh, I see.
He put
all you say, what is it? I use your phone.
Comment, I'll put you on the Lord Jesus Christ, and that kind of man say, when you're on a plane, imagine you're on a plane, and they tell you it's going to crash, and he gives you a parachute. You put on that parachute. It's a lifesaver, and I think the urgency of that message there, you put on the Lord Jesus Christ as you would put on a parachute.
Yes, that's good, Ralph.
That's a lifesaver.
That's good.
I hope you open the door of the plane with a parachute. Okay, that's good enough. Thanks, Ralph. Let's wait till after Chicago. Thank you, Lord bless you. So, yes, now, I gave him his email phone, because usually he's working somewhere, and I have his home phone so I could get both of them. So put out a word, it may not be provision for the flesh. And some people have said they want to stop drinking or drugs or something like that. And what people do sometimes when they want to stop these things, they put some of the drugs in a special corner somewhere up in the shelf or whatever, and they put some alcohol somewhere in their house. They stop drinking, but they make provision in case you want to get some more drugs and more alcohol. These have been times before, but I think that's a good provision. Make not provision for the flesh to fulfill it in the lust thereof. We've got to stop making excuses for our old deeds and our old flesh and what we want to do, so we've got to stop it and make provision. We put on the Lord Jesus and ask Him to help us with all these things. Then chapter 14, and have the comments in chapter 13 before we move to chapter 14 together.
Excuse me, did we have this in the last lesson?
We had chapter 13, verse 14. We stopped there in that last verse and didn't completely discuss it, so we started there last.
Who was teaching? Was it in the morning?
I was teaching.
Was it in the morning?
Last Thursday.
No, last Sunday.
Sunday afternoon.
At the Sunday afternoon, 1:30. All right.
It was a week ago.
It's a week ago, just a week ago, yes. Now, in chapter 14, verse 1, what do you think this means?
Do you want to read these?
Oh, no, we read it, but read it again.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we have 14 and 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 14. 14, 1, 2, 3. Him that
receives him.
All right. Speaking now to Christian believers, what does it think it means to be weak in the faith? Him that is weak in the faith. Any hands on that? What do you think that means? Yes.
Well, I think it means that they're, I don't know if they're backslidden is the right word, but they don't seem to be able to keep up with God's word and what He wants them to do, but they fall so much.
Right.
Always weak and falling down.
Good. Anna.
Well, I think in this case it's weak in the faith. I believe that we talk about the faith and being the body of doctrine. So he doesn't. This person, maybe they're a new believer or maybe they're not a new believer, but for whatever reason they don't have a full grasp, a very strong grasp of all the doctrinal issues. So you're supposed to still accept them lovingly, but you're not supposed to engage in doctrinal disputations with them. In other words, you're not supposed to. It'll talk about certain different things, and they need help to learn things, and certain things are just very technical, doctrinally speaking, and it's like almost like splitting hairs. And if they don't know some of the more basic things, talking to them about the hair splitting matters is not going to be beneficial to them.
Good. Questions at bftbc.org or 856-261-9018. Him that is weak in faith, receive ye. What do you think that would mean? Receive ye. Those weak in the faith. Tammy?
Accept them.
Accept them. All right, accept them. What does it mean? Not to doubtful disputations. What does disputation mean in the first place? Any hands on it? Tammy?
An argument.
Arguments. Doubtful disputation. What would that doubtful disputation, two of them together mean? Tammy?
Well, it seems like there's a disagreement. That's the reason for the argument. And it seems like we would get into that further later on as far as the person that's is weak in the faith, is not strong in all their doctrines, and so they're doubting about certain things that they may do.
All right, so you received the, yes, Kathy.
Well, weak in the faith, I could just go from my own experience when I got saved. And I was weak in the faith, and so much I didn't know. So many things I didn't know. And it took a while to sort out all these, different things, like where Mary fit into the picture, praying, all these things.
Yes.
And I had other Christians that were saved too, so we worked on it together and read the Bible together and learned, but it wasn't like overnight. But the people that helped us received us and brought us along the way. Otherwise, we may never have got to know. Like Chuck Warmer, he used to go to Dolly's every Wednesday night. He would teach us the Bible. And our first encounter with the rapture was at Dolly's house, and we were just. It was just so amazing. I couldn't believe it, but I know it's true now.
Yes.
At the first, I thought, how wonderful. Never heard it. Heard it.
That's it. Yeah. So receive thee, and that's about the disposition. These that are weak in faith, and some are weaker than others. There's no question about that. Then in verse number 2, what are some of these things that the people believe, and what things that other people do not believe in this verse number 2? Hands on that. What are some of the issues involved?
What's your question?
The cats?
Go ahead, Bonnie. What's the question, she said?
Yes. In verse 2, what are some of the issues that are mentioned here? Weak in the faith, what are they talking about? What is the subject? The cats?
Well, some believers believe that they can eat everything, and then other believers believe there's only certain things they can eat, and other people believe that you can't eat meat, just vegetables.
Yes.
So I guess it's like you can't judge somebody because of what they eat, unless you know for sure. Like in the Old Testament, they weren't supposed to eat pork, but I don't know in the New Testament where we have any restrictions on what we eat.
And other comments on that particular. So, Pastor Dan's got something.
Message from Norway. Good afternoon.
Message from Norway, Wisconsin. Okay.
Good afternoon. I hope our Olympic stays on for Bible study.
Well, let's wait to Rick and Wayne Kosick. I believe it is, and Elroy. Thank you. Electricity keeps going off and on, sure, with those emails, and so I think it was on, it was off, and not back on, apparently. That's good. So weak in the faith, and believe he may eat all things. Now, what are some of the things that the doctors and other people that, or especially the natural type of people, not necessarily the MDs, but what are some of the things that people suggest we not eat that is bad for our health?
What verse is this for?
What are some of the things that some people say are not good for our health? After that?
Well, some cultic people are suggesting any animal products are bad for you.
Some cultic people believe not eating any meat like that. What else? The cats?
Well, it used to be eggs were bad for you because of eggs.
Oh, eggs.
But then they came out and said it was all right to have eggs.
Yes, Anna.
I think it's generally accepted that high amounts of sugar are not beneficial.
I could believe
That's right.
that.
How much is Tammy?
And certain people say you can't have dairy products, other people say you can't have wheat products.
So different views of different things. But as far as that sugar answer that Anna gave us, I think that's very true. And a lot of times it makes us diabetic. That can lead us into diabetes, Anna.
As long as we're talking about sugar, some people believe that the larger sugar chains, in other words, like the carbohydrates, they eventually break down into sugar, so those might not be as beneficial to have either, even though that particular vantage point is less popular than the general vantage point that simple sugars are bad.
And what Bill?
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower sounds bad?
Yeah, I hate
cauliflower.
I hate cauliflower.
Well, what you hate, but it just tastes bad for you.
I do. It makes me sick.
That's what you think of that.
Oh, sorry.
Now, as far as if you want to have little sweet things, what are the best things to have if you're looking for something sweet?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. What else?
Ice cream.
What's that? What's that? Fruit. Fruit. That's right. Paul? Paul?
Get their fruit.
Oh, yeah, fruit. Now,
Dark chocolate.
dark chocolate.
Antioxidants.
Okay. Now, fruit, for instance, apples. Delicious sugar, you can see, but it doesn't build up bad things in your body. See, fruit. Now, some probably fruits are higher than others. Comes to bananas are higher in the sugar content than some of the others. Much of the fruit is sweet, it's sugary, but what they eat. So all these different things. Now, when you have had a heart attack, for example, as I've had a heart attack, they suggest you don't eat things, maybe fat, maybe something. So I know that I always used to meat the steak and that type, but don't eat ham because that's...
Everything's wrong.
So, but anyhow...
Can I answer it?
I'm going to answer you. Yes, a little faith, or just a little bit?
Obviously, but they said the best thing to eat just want something sweet or touch fruit because it doesn't have as much sugar in it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Faith, exactly right. That's good
We're watching.
Sure.
I'd rather have chocolate or a piece of cheesecake
Sure.
or some cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I really be careful that I don't like all these because of the hot boys.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you. Let's wait to Faith Peterson there. Good, thank
Okay, I'm
you.
leaving.
Okay, Faith.
All right, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Take
We
care.
miss you, Faith, we miss
Yeah.
you.
So, all these different things are, we gotta be careful of what we eat and what we don't eat and so on. And a lot of these things make people put on a lot of weight and just fat, and it comes to us anyhow. So we gotta be careful. Some people may eat all things. See, those people all things. Well, all things could make some people sick as anything. Could gain weight, could be very hard for them. I forget what we were talking about before the ring, but I was talking about something, I can't remember what it was. But all things, but we eat the herbs, and as Cass said, vegetable type of things, herbs. So there's nothing wrong with herbs, I mean, it's fine, but they don't eat these other things. Now the law of Moses was very clear on some of the things they should not eat that are unclean. Namely, what are some of those things? Old Testament forbidden eating just Cass and
Well, it said pork and some fish. I don't forget what, I think like
certain fish that do not have what?
scales, I don't know.
Fins or scales, see? They must have fins and scales, something in there,
I
right?
had both fins and scales.
Fins and scales are proper fish to eat. Of course, as I've said many times before, my problem with fish, I used to eat lots of fish, love it, but when the electronic thing hit China, not China, Japan, and that whole thing exploded, all that, what do you call that?
There was a tsunami.
What is it?
There was a tsunami that
Radiation.
It's not hit
Nuclear power plant.
nuclear power plant, that's it. So all this nuclear power, it's not been stopped. That was 5, 6, I don't know how many years ago. And so all this junk has flown and gone from the oceans, from Japan, not
Yeah, Japan.
Japan, all the way over to the west coast. And some of the fish, all kinds of fish, piled up on the seashores, dead because of this stuff. So I'm concerned about fish. I don't know whether it's from that type of fish that's going to be poisonous, or some fish that's grilled over here. But what else is the Old Testament not forbidden for Israelites to eat? Certain kind of meats, as we said there, like pork is bad. What else? Yes.
Like the hoofed or cloven?
That's right. See, some animals, like the, what is it? The pig, it's got this clove doesn't show the cut. Swine. So it has to be both cloven-footed and shows the cut, and it had 2 stomachs, at least 2 stomachs. So there's a number of things that are listed. Yes.
elimination.
Some people won't even eat pork today. Like, I know I'm not too, even though I like the taste of certain pork products, I won't eat them. I don't think they're healthy for you. And like sausage, I don't even touch. for example. You're allowed to eat all that, of course.
Yeah,
I just don't.
So preferences are one thing, but some of these people have chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. One believes all things was weak, either herbs or vegetables or things like that. And then in verse 3, what is the attitude that each of these groups should have toward one another in verse 3? What are the attitudes that should be there between these two groups? They all eat meat, and those that eat certain things. Yes, Pastor Dan.
In Acts 15, 20,
And 29.
15, 20, isn't it?
15, 20, and also 29.
15, 28,
No, 20.
15, 20, Acts
And also
15, 20.
29.
But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, from fornication, from things strangled, and from blood. For Moses, of old time, hath in every city them that preacheth him being read in the synagogue every Sabbath day. So these three things that we're supposed to abstain from.
All right, anything else?
Strangled.
And strangled, yes.
Things that are idols. Pollution of idols.
Strangled and blood.
Now, remember the Old Testament people, the Israelites, no blood. That's why they have, when they kill animals, they drain the blood out of them. Remember, what do they call it? Take out the kosher. They kill animals, it's a kosher kill, blood is drained. So there's certain things in the Old Testament, certain things in the New, we're to abstain from. What is the attitude in verse 3? Oh, should be 10.
It seems like during this time period, writing of the book of Romans, there was a lot of idol worship, and there were meats that were offered to idols. And so the church made that decree in Acts 15:20, James, or was it Peter? One of the two of them, that said basically to the Gentiles that they wanted them to abstain from pollution of idols. Well, seems like this is what's being referenced here as far as those that just eat herbs. As we see later on in the context, it seems like there's talking about things that are offered to idols.
Yes, wow.
I wanted to put down, no, I can't find either scripture verse. I wanted to put them together with the Bible verse, with a Bible reference. You know what I'm trying to say?
You were looking up a cross-reference, possibly in the book of Acts.
Yeah, I heard it said, and I wanted to write it down.
It's Acts 15:20.
For which one? 15, 15:20, then what do I write there?
That's the cross-reference.
That's the cross.
Make sure that's the right verse. Is that the verse you want?
What's the underneath?
Romans 14,
What's that say?
Verse 2, or in verse 2.
Romans 14:2, cross-reference with Acts 15:20.
Oh, I thought it was going to be...
And 29.
Okay. Romans 14:2 and Acts 16.
15:20.
All these things, as Tammy said also, things offered to idols are not to eat any of that meat. That was true. Yes?
That's putting us in.
Yes, fine.
I just wonder if the one over here someplace we already had, which was, I wanted to know the cross-reference. We were just about saying that.
Cross-reference, but then you
The
have
one that's in chapter
15:20 and
20, Acts 15:20, cross-reference with Romans 14:2.
Oh, I have that. I thought it was going to be different. Okay, thank you. I'll write it in when I get home.
So the attitude, as we said, let's repeat ourselves a little bit, verse 3, the attitude to the one that eateth, what should he or she not do? One that eats everything. What should he not do in verse 3? Questions at bftbc.org or 856-261-9018. Cass and then Tammy.
Well, it says that just despise not them, so if you have someone that eats everything, you're not supposed to start any kind of argument or dispute about it.
Right, Cass, Tammy.
That's what I would think.
With that?
not despise or look down on someone that's not eating.
All right, don't look down on others that don't eat the thing, see? They say no. And then in verse 3, the last part, that him that eateth not should do what? One that doesn't eat these things. Yes?
Not judge him that do eat,
Okay.
not judge him that eateth.
Okay, so God has receded. So those people should not have friction among them in the churches. One may be right, one may be wrong, both may be wrong, but just try to get along. I think that's what it's saying there, is it not? Let's read verses 4, 5, and 6. Romans 14, 5, 4, 5, and 6. Who art thou that judgest another man's servant, to his own master he standeth afar? Yet he is able enough, for God is able to make his stand. One man esteemeth one way above another, another man esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord. He that regardeth not the day to the Lord does not regard it. He that giveth to give to God thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and giveth God thanks. So here's the two different classifications. In verse number 5, what is it talking about here? What is the essence of this?
Verse 4.
Verse 4. What are they type of the thing are they talking about here? Yeah,
Well, every Christian is the servant of God. They're not a servant of man.
All right.
So we would be judging, another person's servant.
Okay.
It's God's servant.
To his own master stands. In other words, if we don't serve that person, if we're not employed with a person, but a servant, or get paid for it, we don't talk about somebody else's job or whatever it is. To his own master, he stands before us. And what does the last part mean? God shall be able to make him stand. What does that mean? Any hands on that? God is able to make them stand. Yes, Dan?
Well, if God's, if he believes God, it says it's all right for him to eat, and then God is he's going to hold him up in faith.
Right.
And if he believes that he's not supposed to eat, God's going to hold him up in that conviction as well.
Yes. Now, in other words, yes, Jacob, go ahead.
Pastor Waite, hello. Pastor Waite.
Yes.
Jacob.
I want to comment on that chapter, verse 1, he that is weak in the faith receive, but not to doubtful disputations. I was looking at, I had cross-reference there, and I didn't know why, so I looked at it, 2 Timothy 2:23. And I'd like to add another one, if you don't mind.
Okay.
But the 2 Timothy 2:23 is, but foolish, unlearned questions avoid, knowing they could tender strifes. And I'd like to add this other one, because someone that's immature in the faith, of these things, and the remembrance, charging them before the Lord that they strive not of words to no profit, but to the subverting of the ears. And Mom said hi.
Good. Hi.
Hi, Grandma.
Okay, God bless, good afternoon, y'all.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Good to
it.
hear from you.
Yeah, bye-bye. All right, so we've got to be very careful not to offend one another. So that's in verse 4. The judges does. Then in verse 5, what about the days? What does it mean to esteem a day? And what's the battle here in verse 5?
5 of what?
Of chapter 14:5. What are they talking about here in the Old Testament especially? Yes, guys?
Like church holidays or holy days, I guess, or like in the Old Testament they had like all those different feast days and everything. And then the people today celebrate different Well, like some people celebrate Christmas, and I don't know whether there should be disputation over that or not. I'm curious about this verse. I'm not really sure I even know for sure. I mean, it's about days, so
Right,
somebody else can know.
Tammy and then Pastor Dan.
Well, me?
Yeah, Tammy
Okay.
first.
All right. So one person might believe that we need to hold on to we'll say, for lack of a better term, we'll say feast days. But other people that are born-again Christians may say, no, we don't need to hold on to those and celebrate those feast days.
That's right. Yes, Cass?
I've heard, like on the radio, switching to the YouTube, sometimes I've heard that some people still celebrate Saturday as their day with the Lord.
Yes.
But we celebrate Sunday.
That's right.
But they say that came from the Roman Catholic Church, and it really should be Saturday. So that's kind of a mix-up. But
Yes.
I don't think the Lord would hold us.
How do they answer both these questions?
I don't know.
Saturday, Sunday, and Roman Catholic experiences. Lay hands on them. Okay? Yeah?
Well, the church met on the first day of the week, and that's when the Lord was resurrected.
Right up?
Yeah.
They had evening services on Sunday evening, and Thomas wasn't there one time, he was there the next time. Sheila?
Catholics, they believe in going to church Sunday, but they have, it's almost like a convenience mass.
Yes.
Saturday night.
Yes.
I know when I used to be a Catholic, and I didn't know better, because it was long before I was saved, my father said, "Oh, do you want to go and get it over with on Saturday night?" And he treated churches as something, something to get over with. He wasn't even saved at the time.
Yes.
I believe he didn't, say it on his deathbed. He said, "I believe," praise God, like literally before he died. But and I said, "Well, yeah, right." And then I was happy that I could get it over with.
Yes.
Terrible to say it back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't know better.
Right.
Yeah, I did it too.
Yeah.
Yes, now, as Tammy said, they met the first day of the week, Sunday evening service, for example. Thomas wasn't there the first Sunday night service, but he was there the second night service, so the first day of the week. In other places in the New Testament, it's the first day of the week. But some people still call Sunday the Sabbath day. Now that's wrong, because Sabbath means rest, and Sunday was a day of work and for the Lord, and God and witnessing and preaching and having services and meeting together and studying the things of the Lord.
Oh, thank you for clearing that up, Pastor.
Yeah, well, now some people, won't mention any names, but they still believe Sabbath is to be worshipped in this country, in this age of grace. Yeah, Bill.
Those are the Jews.
The Jews.
They believe that Saturday is their Sabbath, and they're supposed to go to the synagogue on Saturdays. But most of the Jews are working on Saturdays and Sundays, and they don't respect even their own religion, I'm afraid.
Now, remember the Sabbath day to keep holy is found where in the Old Testament?
In the Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments.
Exodus 19.
Is that commandment ever repeated in the New Testament?
No.
No. Therefore, it's not up to Christians to follow the Old Testament Sabbath day. All the others are repeated. 9 out of 10, but not that 10th. Jill?
I believe the Seventh-day Adventists argue that it's a different day too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Bill, you had something like earlier?
I have there is a principle of rest that Christians need to consider, though. As far as they can wear themselves to frazzle if they don't take time to rest. And God set that example for the children of Israel. So I don't think it's a bad example as a principle of rest.
We should rest all 7 days in the evenings, or whatever the time frame is, and should rest and sleep and take it easy.
Sometimes we can't, because we're always busy doing things.
Well, but sometimes in the evening we certainly can sleep and have our 8 hours or 7 hours, 6 hours, if not. Well, Anna, go ahead.
Well, I think also it's important to have a waking period of rest as well at times, just to take come apart and rest a while. You leave all the stress and the work, and you just rest, and you're not stressing about things.
That is true, Yvonne.
I'm a product of a very strict father when it came to Sabbath day, which he called Sunday. I don't remember him so much talking about the Sabbath on Sunday, but Sunday.
I don't think he thought of it as a Sabbath necessarily.
What?
Some people refer to it as the Sunday Sabbath. It's Sunday Sabbath. Go ahead, man.
Well, I wanted to say this, but I forget as I go along.
Okay, well,
Anyhow, but I guess another time I can't say it.
when you remember it, Tony, you can bring it back. That's good. So,
I can remember it, it's just too hard to talk about.
yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. But my father believed in strict Sunday.
Yes.
Strict Sunday. And we didn't work, we didn't go to the store, we didn't do anything. And even today, at first when I wished to eat out, it was the strangest feelings, but I started eating out at Bible school when we went on special assignments. We had to eat someplace. But I'm sorry, my mind goes in and out of what I want to say, and I don't want to make it foolish.
All right. Yes, now, the scriptures, after that,
I mean, this chapter 14 and others are the chapters that discuss the so-called Christian liberty, with license versus legalism passages. So do Christians have the liberty to do anything they want to do? And some people would say, well, they use these verses, some of these verses in chapter 14 to give them the support to do anything they want to do. And then they'll in the same breath turn around and call somebody a legalist who doesn't want to do it, or they're looking for a license in order to do something that they really probably shouldn't do. They're misunderstanding what the context was, what contextually was happening here in this church in the first century.
Yvonne?
Even today, if I do something on Sunday that has any bit of works in it, or anything like that, I do feel strange.
So
and it's not,
work?
I don't know I don't know what he said.
The standing, does that work?
I don't know.
Any works on
Yes, it
Sunday?
helps me because it makes me get help.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Anna?
See, if one was going to follow the Old Testament very strictly, then no one would be able to drive anywhere on Sunday.
Right.
Because
Sabbath day's journey.
well, not just because you would be lighting a fire. You start the car, you light a fire. And also, it's more than a Sabbath day's journey as well. Theoretically, one could drive less than a Sabbath day's journey. So that would mean that a lot of people that are here today, they want people to come to the services because it'd be too far to come.
Right, and some people wouldn't come. We had people come to Bible class here. They couldn't come here to church on Sunday because they would be traveling on the Lord's Day.
So these are legalists. There's nothing in the New Testament that says you can or cannot go so many days, so many miles on Sabbath day. Nothing in the New Testament that limits travel time or anything else. Now, let me give you an illustration. I was pastor at Faith Baptist Church in Newton, Massachusetts for a year or two, and we had 4 sons and a daughter. I don't remember how many children were there when they were there. Do we have Dan yet? Dan wasn't here. We had 3 sons and 1 daughter. Now, on Sunday, a lot of times in the backyard, our 3 sons would go out and play a little ball or something like that. A neighbor that lived across the street on the side street from us called us up one Sunday. Your boys are playing on Sunday. Horrible. See, they were Sabbatarians. They couldn't do anything on Sunday.
Can I
check
something?
Well, let me finish up.
Okay.
So even though I don't put
We probably know this story as well as you two, too.
I know, the whole story, I told you many times before. But anyway, I don't believe anything that can stop playing, but I said to them, we got to go to church tonight. When you're playing all these others, you can sweat it up and it's horrible. Come on in and rest. because it's best, because we had to go to Sunday evening service as well. So that was my excuse. The boys did it, they came in and never went out because what the neighbors said, right or wrong. I disagreed with the neighbor's excuse, but I did this thing to provide for.
This particular day when she came over,
Yeah.
I had been in the hospital. She didn't know that. But, how do I want to say
I thought she called the phone, but she came over
She did.
Oh, I
The
heard.
man came over and apologized.
afterwards. Huh?
I'm trying to tell the story and it's leaving me.
So, were you over this lady's kitchen before?
Say it again.
Were you over this lady's house before?
Yeah, after she called up and told us that, number one is I had an argument with my husband that day. I said, I don't think the boys should play out in the
Was
outside.
before or after?
That was before anybody called up in the neighborhood. I said, I don't think it's right. A lot of people.
But she's a Sabbatarian like her father. Go
A
ahead.
lot of people, see, I had it. A lot of people, see, it's gone.
Well, what else back?
You went over to the lady's house.
She came, called me up and said that, and I was mortified. Here I'd been in the hospital, very sick, and all she could think about is my children playing on it, which of course she didn't know that I'd been in the hospital.
Right.
But anyhow, so then
The children
I
talk
went
about
over there. I just got my things and went right over there and confronted her.
Right.
I looked out her front window. She was on like a little bit of hill. She could not see in my living room unless she stood in the window and stared and looked. And I showed her, see, you can't even see my living room. You can't see my house.
The yard.
Yeah.
Then there.
So,
Questions at BATDC.org or 856-261-9018 is the call or comment.
put it in the...
Anything else?
See, that day, when she called up and said my children were playing in the yard on Sunday. I agreed with her because I didn't think we should. I never did anything bad on Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday was the day you did
You
things.
did bad things other days?
Other days, so I was a good girl. That was my problem.
Now, even though we differ because her father was Sabbatarian and I'm not, and differ the whole principle of it, still it got the boys inside on Sunday. That's it.
No. All right. Well, if we can't do anything on Sunday, we could not use the phone, go out
Right.
to have dinner, shovel the snow. That's what she was saying.
That's ready to...
If that's true.
Ready.
That'd be all right.
Wisconsin, thank you.
I don't mind shovel the snow.
Well, and any other, yes, poor Rick, and he got hurt his back very badly because he got sometimes 12 or 13 inches of snow in Wisconsin. Yeah, that's it.
But they have to hire someone.
Back in the 30s, well, it doesn't matter what it was, but when we think about bringing these so-called Christian areas of Christian liberty, or sometimes that we say the gray areas,
Right.
depends on what kind of paint you use, I suppose, or what kind of standard you use to what's gray, what's black, and what's white. You got to think of smoking, drinking, gambling,
Going to the movie,
all the list can go on.
heard about today.
The list can go on and on and on. These areas are what's in dispute today. I mean, people don't.
Finish up then, Rob.
Just let Rob go ahead.
Rob,
Hey, Rob, go ahead, Rob. Glad to have you back.
Share my memory of growing up in Advent, Philadelphia, and this was in all Pennsylvania, but on Sunday everything was closed. Couldn't sell cars, you couldn't sell liquor, most of the restaurants were closed, but everything was closed. And I remember probably around 1968, 69, the first thing that they eased their way in was to open up car lots. So they started selling cars on Sunday, I think in 1969, but before that everything was closed on Sunday. I don't know if it was like that in New Jersey, but
Yes, it was.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, that's true. Well, good. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
that's something.
Let's wave to Rob over in Chicago. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Pastor Dan, continue.
And so you have these areas of Christian liberty. I mean, even some, would argue, and even as far as modesty, lines of modesty. I'll read Barbara.
Okay. Yeah, hello, Barbara, Master from New Jersey. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hi, Pastor Waite. Hi, everybody. I'm just calling in and saying hi and checking in and letting you know I'm here. I also want to thank you for praying for my daughter and her husband. David did not end up with concussion and they're both fine.
That's good.
Good, praise the Lord. Thank you very much. Let's wait to Bible Master right here. Okay, that's good. Pastor Dan, go ahead.
The standard of modesty for men, standard of modesty for women, and even lately, probably, it's come to morality, as far as what's considered immoral, what's considered not immoral. All these things, gray areas are coming in and being people using this passage as an excuse to be immoral, to be immodest, to smoke, to drink, do this, to do that, to do these other things. Now, some things perhaps are gray areas. Some things people do have a liberty to do or not to do. But quite often people are using this passage to justify wrongdoing rather than to avoid and do that which is right.
Good, Cass.
I was just going to add to what Father was saying, that we were not Christians when we were growing up. My father wasn't either. I mean, they had religion, but they didn't have Christianity, they didn't have a word. And he was the same way. We weren't allowed to go outside and play. I mean, we could go outside, but we couldn't make noise, anything. And he'd say, when you're going up the steps this Sunday, be quiet and don't make a lot of noise. And I remember all that. Some people was a day when we didn't do anything. All the stores were closed. And it was just a reverence about the day that you gave to the Lord, but I didn't have the right attitude about it because I didn't know the Lord, but we did that. The same, it was, I still feel funny about going to the store on Sunday. If I mean,
It's your entitlement.
I walk around like a stranger that never been there before. I feel funny, but when I was a teenager, I didn't disobey my father. I could have, because he didn't see me every minute. And we went to just a meal or someplace where everybody hung out.
Hold that, Tiny, just stay it off. Hey, hold David, go right ahead. Hello? Yeah, go ahead.
I hope I'm not interrupting anybody speaking. I'm thinking this passage here, really the correlation is in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, where in verse 29 it says, conscience, I say, not thine own, but of the other. For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? For if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of? He goes on to say in verse 31, whether therefore ye eat or ye drink, or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. I think that's what this chapter here, chapter 14 is getting to, is that if we do something, whether it's, not often, my wife and I, we don't celebrate Christmas in the sense of putting up a Christmas tree and decorating lights and all that kind of stuff. We do celebrate the birth of Christ. Not that we're required to. We choose to take that day and set it aside and say, no, this is when the Lamb of God came to be slain. Even though he was figuratively slain before the foundation of the world, he came physically. But I always ask them when they say they're going to become a Christian, I personally think it's a waste of time. But I say to them, well, let me ask you, when you put up that Christmas tree, what's the first thought that comes in your mind? And they go, well, what a beautiful spectacle it is with the lights and gold and red or whatever balls and on it. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. The Christmas tree is not the problem. The problem is that you're not doing it for the glory of the Lord. You're doing it to appease your flesh, to get warm, fuzzy feeling. That's not the glory of the Lord. This verses are talking about, well, if your brother eats meat, don't be offended that he eats meat. If he has others are all getting in trouble. Thanks for your time. I love you.
Amen. I love you too. Thank you, all bless.
Thanks for
Yes, amen. Thank you very much.
Hear from you.
Yes, now, I guess was Mom speaking or was
Yeah, she was talking about when she was young and something about the mill, something going somewhere when she was younger. She could have gone, but she wasn't sure if she.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about that in Brea. There was that store where the kids hang out. Yeah, with an M. Do you remember what the name of it is?
No, not offhand.
I never went in there because I didn't think I should, as a Christian, be friends, real intimate friends, and laughing and doing whatever they do in that store.
Well, speaking of the Sabbath day or Sunday, as I've said many times before, I've been a Navy chaplain 5 years in active duty. One of the rules and regulations, Navy regulations, no cruise will be in on Sunday. No cruise. Well, by the time I was in the tablets, they broke all that rule, even though it was Navy regulation. They would have all kinds of things. As a result, they were the Marines. As a result, on Sunday services, if everybody were there, they'd have a big attendance, but they're off on maneuvers. So there's very few that were attending the services that we preach on because they broke the Navy regulations. So it's a historic thing. Excuse me, Jacob. Okay. That's how Jacob and... Go ahead. For Texas. Yeah.
Pastor Waite, you know, Al was so right about what he said.
Yes.
I was thinking about over in Colossians 2 here, and Rob, he said that he had somebody that this, have you ever heard of a preacher called Charles Lawson, Pastor Waite?
I'm not sure.
I think I have.
Possibly.
He showed me this sermon, Shadow of Things to Come, and it's about, well, let me read these 3 verses here. We're just probably, 2 of them, 3 of them good enough. It's Colossians 2:15 through 17. And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them, ultimately triumphing over them in it. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. And he did a really good job of this yesterday. We can't, and we're not supposed to eat these as a famous salvation. We can look to these Jewish feasts and see Christ in it. Most Christians don't look to the holiday at all as far as having anything to do with this, but when he pointed out the importance of the 8th day in this little sermon he did here, Shadow of Things to Come, by Charles Lawson, that he really put that in perspective. Anyway, not that I celebrate Hanukkah or anything like that, but it helps you understand. It's a Christmas story from eternity to the manger, to the cross, to the second coming, and beyond. It really is. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and God bless.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it. Let's wait to Jacob in Texas. Jacob in Texas.
Mrs. Grover.
Mrs. Grover to Gail Grover. All right. Any other comments on this particular Wendy? Tammy.
A parallel passage, 1 Corinthians chapter 8, talks about eating meat offered to idols. I'm going to read a few of those verses, starting at verse 8. But meat commendeth us not to God, for neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. For if any man see thee, which hast knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish, from whom Christ died. Wherefore, when ye sin so against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend. So that was the Apostle Paul's decision, that he would prefer not to eat meat than to offend any brother.
Very good analogy of those verses, yes. Paul?
Can you please keep an eye from my boss out there?
Okay, we're shooting.
Yes, Bill has eyes in the back of his head. I already
I'll
waved
figure
him on.
that.
That's right, take care of it.
I already waved them off, Paul.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Now, we're coming to the end of our time, but is there any other comments you want to make? We'll pull this up and start again at verse 5, Lord willing, next week. But any other comments you have to say? This is a very important subject.
What chapter are we in?
Chapter 14
Of what book,
of
Romans?
Romans, Very important. What we do, what we're going to do on certain days is we're going to glorify the Lord in every way possible. And we certainly, we have services on the first day of the week because that's when the early church met. And that's what we're supposed to do. What's that?
I was saying that's when the Lord arose.
That's when the Lord arose, the first day of the week, the bodily resurrection of the Savior. Much more other comments. Let's close. Our dear Father, we thank Thee for Thy grace. We thank Thee for these verses that Paul wrote to the Roman Christian believers. Help us, Lord, to follow them and to use them and to glorify our Savior, no matter whether we differ or not differ on these days, different things. We're free in the Lord. We thank Thee for freedom. We thank Thee that Thou canst do all things for us and to us if we will accept what Thou dost have for us in mind. Keep us faithful to Thee. Be with those that are listening to us on the internet. Guide them and strengthen them. We thank Thee for these calls that have been sent to us through the internet, those that are calling in. And we praise the Lord for their faithfulness and their wisdom and guidance. And those that are here, what they have to say and speak, we thank Thee for them as well. Guide us and direct us. Bring us back on Thursday and the Thursday midweek service. Especially we pray for the June the 13th, Thursday, midweek service, when Dr. and Mrs. Bennett are coming from Australia through the United States first and then from Australia, our faithful missionaries as they come to speak to us on that Thursday. May many people listen, call in, and appreciate and come to our services on that day. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
I started inviting people
I just did.
on the outside. Yeah, you did. Yours?
Yeah, it is.
That's fine, yeah, I could use one of the pens. I know not over the green ones.
Hello, Mrs. Weber. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, good, yeah, thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of a yawn, I'm sorry.
What did you say?
I'm in the middle of a yawn, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you look tired, that's it.
It's okay.